So here I am, sitting on the floor, on a hard wooden floor, for you, just for you. Do you appreciate it? Man, the lengths I go to. A fat guy like me, sitting on a floor, hardwood floor, it's not gentle, it's not gentle. I am suffering for you. Do you appreciate it? Do you appreciate it? Don't say anything about a spittle you see flying. Nobody saw that. Nobody saw that. Is that clear? Don't say you saw it, I didn't see it, you didn't see it. Nobody saw it. Let's get into this. Ladies and gentlemen, miscreants, mollifiers, unicorn dissemblers. I had something better. Something with unicorns. Because there's something unicorn stuff going on. Never mind. Yeah. We'll figure it out. We'll fix it in post. We'll do it live. I'm not shooting anything live for you guys. Never gonna happen. Never gonna happen. I don't trust you. If I shoot it live and I see your live comments, I'm just gonna get angry. And who wants me to get angry? I'm already, whenever I'm, and you know when I'm drinking out of the Pickle Rick the Pickle Rick mug, I'm already a little bit crispier than usual. So let's get going. Huh? No. So for anybody who's been living under a rock, or wherever you are from, or have never been here before, which is most of you probably, I'm talking to the whole future. I'm not just talking to the 3 people who's gonna watch this video. I'm talking to the whole future because everybody's gonna watch it. This video will one day it will reach 1 billion. I know this. It might take 1 million years to do it, but it will reach 1 billion views. That's how important this video is. That's how significant it is. You're living through a moment in time, guys. Appreciate it. Feel lucky, feel honored. This is like the Beatles coming to America for the first time. This is how big this is. I don't know. Is that big enough? I don't know. This is another one I want to say, but I don't want to get people unnecessarily angry. No, I want to get you necessarily angry. Not unnecessarily angry, necessarily angry. And that's what I'm here to do. I'm here today to rank all the Malazan books in all the different Malazan series. There is 26 at the moment, and that is, and if you're like, well, that doesn't seem right, well, my calculations is, okay, there is 24 novels available at this moment, present time, and then there's 2 collections of novellas, and then there's 1 novella that's already out, that's going to be part of the 3rd collection, so I'm not counting that because I haven't read that yet. I will read it when the 3rd collection is finally done and comes out. Yay! So it's a Dark of Evil Overlords, haven't read it yet. Also the short story Goats of Glory, haven't read that yet. I don't even know where to get it. So sorry about that, those are not included in the list today. But I love the series so much, and I wanted to try and see what we can do. I want people to read this. This is one of the few times I want people to get into this. And if doing lists like this can get you to, why not? It's not like the series is not very popular. It is very popular, but it should be even more popular. It should really be as popular as the most popular books. It really should stand alongside in popularity. Now I'm speaking straight about popularity. I feel this should reach the Lord of the Rings, Song of Ice and Fire levels of popularity. And hopefully it will one day. Hopefully it will. I don't want to be this guy that, oh, this is my niche and I'm only into my niche. No, I want everybody to watch it. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm educating you. That's why I'm talking about this. If I don't want you to know about it, if I don't want you to share in the magic, I wouldn't. But don't you dare write any negative comments about Malazan. I don't, Dislike, boom, immediately, for you. boom, boom. They should really do like a 10 dislike button, just for me to use, right? Like I can give you 10 dislikes at one time. Or like just a super dislike for anybody, but it's only on Malazan videos and it's only for people knocking down Malazan. They get a super, they get super dislikes or nothing else. Nothing else. This is already taking too long. Let's get into this, guys. We have 26 books, and I kind of broke them out into segments. They are ranked, but it's like I've got. We'll start with the ones that I think are very good, and it gets just better from there on. But like, okay, so the segments is like, okay, yeah, I did rank them, but those could possibly during the day, during the whatever, move a little bit. But I see it unlikely that they would move in time out of that segment for me. Out of that, like, let's say tier. It's not a tier list, but a tier. But they could move between each other in that tier. I can easily see it coming. And then I broke it kind of down like that. But the first tier we are working for is the books called as very good. These are the very good ones. So you should know if we start at very good. If the lowest rank we're doing is very good. Boom, we're in for it. We're in for something, right? This is our specialist. First, at number 26, it is the first book in the novels of the Malazan Empire by Ian C. Knight of Knives by Ian C Esslemont. When you see that, when you feel it, this could be a great introduction for somebody who just wants to get a little bit into the world, but not go into the craziness that Malazan can be. A reason why it's probably last is, except for the novellas, it's probably the smallest self-contained story. It is, except for the novellas, it is the smallest self-contained story within the Malazan oeuvre. Oeuvre, I love that word. Not that I really know what it means. Swear, it's like swear, I say, but oeuvre, whatever. Big highlights for me about this. So it takes place in one city, in one night. But it's a crazy night, of course. That's why it's a novel. My highlights for me about this one, because it's also this is the book with the least amount of point of view characters of any of the books. The least amount of POVs. And one of the POVs in here is one of my favorite POVs, one of my favorite characters in Malazan. The old grizzled veteran of all old grizzled veterans, Teir. Such an awesome character. Love following him around. And the way, and this is a thing that Malazan plays a lot of. The way Teir sees himself compared to how other people see him is such disjointed, and both Esslemont and Erikson play a lot of times. This is the one time Esslemont really goes deep into that, where Erikson does it on many other occasions to kind of like, it's almost like unreliable narrator in a way, but it's a guy in a monologue compared to how people see him from outside. So that is, and then just it's like a spooky, scary story with like just creature feature type thing that I really like. Awesome one, awesome book. Number 25. My back's already hurting, by the way, from sitting like this. It's not how I'm supposed to. Look. Number 25. We go to where is it? Wait. I'm gonna not put them on the floor. No, they're going back in. We're putting them back as they go. I'm not gonna be like I have to pick up everything afterwards again. We're doing it live. We're doing it live. Okay. Number 25. Awhile by Ian C Esslemont, the sixth novel in the novels of the Malazan Empire. So this is kind of the last book. It's kind of the epilogue in some ways to the Malazan novels of Malazan Empire and Malazan Book of the Fallen, because those are interwoven. Although it's written by two different authors and it's separate, it's kind of interwoven, and it takes place during the same time period in the world of Wu. That's what we're gonna go. Wu. I love that. The planet of Wu. The world of Wu. And if you don't know what that refers to, just go read all the books and figure it out. You'll eventually know. It's strange that this one is the only reason this one's low. For some reason, this one's never grabbed me as crazy as some of the other ones. I've always read this one a little bit slower, but that doesn't change the fact that it's awesome. It has great characters. It delivers on a lot of things that both Esslemont and Erickson had worked through the whole series. And it's not supposed to be a climax. It's more an epilogue. But we go to it's on the continent of Asile, which we've only heard about before. This is the first time we actually go there, which is awesome. that gives you the type of thing like what a Malazan is. It's in the 16th book, in a kind of two series that work together. You only then get to one of the continents on the planet. Yeah, whatever. But especially there's a bunch of like great weird action scenes. There's like a river. There's like a boat through a hard river pass going. Not a river pass, but through a hard pass going through. That's epic and awesome. And then the final scene, or the final kind of, scene in this, man, one of the best, or as it does kind of tie a bow on everything, although it doesn't. 1,000 things can still happen, 1,000 unanswered questions, because this is a whole world, so for every question, everything that gets answered just gets more questions, right, because this world is infinite in its madness. But that final sequence and scene, and whatever you want to call it, I don't want to say too much, but it's just fantastic, and it gives you a tingle. Yeah, it gives you like a tingle when you get to it. Every time I read it, that's really awesome. Which is twice, but also I've listened to it on audiobook once. I've read all of these except for one. I've read all of them twice, except for the newest book in the Malazan oeuvre. And I have listened to most of them on audiobook, except for I'm busy listening to Fall of Light on audiobook now, and then I'm going to listen to the Path to Ascendancy series. But I don't listen to a lot of audiobooks, so I go like through 2 hours a week audiobook at most. So yeah, that takes some time. The next one, number 24, we're still in the very good category, is the first collected tales of Beauchelane and Corbel Brooch by Mr. Steven Erickson. Steven finally makes it onto the list. Of course he's gonna, everything's on the list, so both of them will somewhere be on the list. These are just great fun, creepy, really funny stories following the everybody's two favorite or despicable necromancers and their manservant, the Emanciporis. What a beautiful voice I have. Emanciporis. Don't you just enjoy my voice? Come on, admit it, you love my voice. 3 great, nice, fun stories. The middle one, The Leaves of Laughter's End, that's my favorite. Oh man, Leaves of Laughter's End, it's just a wild ride on a boat going through a strait that's particularly crazy. And the first one is Blood Follows, and the last one is The Healthy Dead. Also enjoyed both of those. I think Healthy Dead is my second favorite of the 3, and then Blood Follows is my third favorite. But they're all great, they're all fun. But The Leaves of Laughter's End is awesome. It's one of the standout novellas in the series. Although everything's kind of standard when it comes to Malazan. These are just if you want laughs and some craziness and some weird stuff, and strangely body horror, but mostly played for laughs. These are really great and awesome. Number 23, still under the very good tier list. We get Deadhouse Landing by Ian C Esslemont, the second book in the Paths to Ascendancy series. Yes, I'll say Path to Ascendancy, but we changed it to Paths now. It's Paths now, but Path to Ascendancy series, book 2 in the Path to Ascendancy. This follows a young. This story follows a young. This is the second book in that series that mostly follows, although it broadens already. It mostly follows dancer, a young dancer, and a young Emperor Kellenbed. This is not a spoiler, so don't worry about it. But this one already broadens it to a lot of the more characters. We meet a lot of characters that will become instrumental in the original Malazan Empire, and it's great to finally meet them and awesome. What do I? Some great highlights in this. There's like, yeah. It is really, my favorite thing about this is how we start to meet a lot more of the people that are very influential in the early Malazan Empire. And just how they interact. The Napans. A lot of the Napans we meet, and they are awesome. I love the Napans. Everything else is great, but the Napans, really cool. Really cool. There's also, yeah, there's another one as well. There's another character. One of my favorite characters, his storyline is also in here. Yeah, he has a Calor. Calor also shows up in this. And Calor is awesome. Loved it. Brilliant. Awesome. Like I said, all of them are awesome. Really. We're in a very good section right now. At number 23 is Kilometers Reach by Ian C Esslemont. Book number 3 in the past is Cincy. This is quite a short one. This is a very short book for a Malazan book. Oh, my foot's dying. Oh, let me do this. Oh, yeah. No, oh man. You guys have no idea how uncomfortable this is. And I'm doing it for you, and you guys don't care even one little iota. What I love about this is it tells a very sprawling, crazy. There's events happening all over the continent of Quantali. Conquest and everything. It happens. There's stuff happening on the isles of Quantali, and yet it's told fast. It's at a breakneck pace. And then I won't say what the throne thing is about in Kilometers Reach. You have to read that and to find out. But how it lives into all those stories and packs everything in so quickly. It is kind of amazing, and I kind of enjoy that. Although it does feel like it goes a little bit too fast. That some of the events, it felt like it could have breathed a little bit more. But I do like the attempt to condense it, like and give this history of this great epic events and all that, and they just do this rapid and craziness. I did enjoy this a lot. It was definitely a departure in a way in the style, although the characters still feel the same. And I did enjoy this a lot. It did lose a little bit of the things that make some of the other ones for me especially like, but like the moments of breathing, just give it a bit more color and stuff. But still, it was I could see what he was trying to do, and it was impressive, and I did enjoy it. Because like I said, these are the very good books. And then at number 21. Number 21. I'm even right about that. Yeah, number 21. Yes. The second collected tales of Bocheline and Corbel Brooch. These are so good, so funny, crazy, inventive. Really, this is, I mean, as inventive as the Malazan series is already. It's really in his novellas that Erikson lets it even go extra further, and especially going into the comedy and horror elements that also can be found in this. Necromancers are awesome. Listen, necromancers are the best. Coolest people that you play with the dead. Nice. Okay, that sounded a bit mean. I would not want to meet these two guys. Later, Corbridge, I would not want to meet them. I'll say this. The three ones in here, the three novellas in here, is the Worms of Blairmouth, Crackpot Trail, and the Fiends of Nightmare. My favorite, Worms of Blairmouth and Fiends of Nightmare is kind of equal. A lot of fun, crazy hijinks, funny stuff, and interesting new characters, and you really enjoy it. But Crackpot Trail is my favorite. It's kind of written in a different style from a certain character's point of view. Yeah. And there's multiple stories playing off in it, being retold by certain bards as they're on their way through a journey. And yeah, it's and it hits hard. A Crackpot Trail really hits hard at the points. It's really imaginative, but it also has like tragic elements and stuff more than any of the other ones. I really enjoyed it. It's less constant comedic as the other novellas, which has like really, but it has some serious moments. But when it also decides to be funny, it becomes the funniest thing ever. And my favorite part of especially that one is the different bards that's competing to stay alive. Why do I have to stay alive? Read the book. Find out. Water is good, man. Like water. It's not vodka. I don't drink alcohol in the middle of the day. How dare you suggest that? Okay. One more book in the very good tier list. And like I said, if it's a tier list, I could see the books move around the numbers here in the years to come. So we'll do this stuff again, like when the next 2 books come out or the next 4 books are out. And then we can do it again and see how my mind has changed and stuff. Maybe do another reread of the whole series and see how my mind has changed. But this is the last one that I still count on the very good. Where is it? Here. Ian C Esslemont, Orb Scepter Throne. This is the 4th book in the novels of the Malazan Empire. And I love this book. One of the storylines that are very prominent here is the storyline of the Segula. And we've only had Segula like on the periphery of this, or a little bit. Here we get a lot of Segula, and that's awesome. That's really, really awesome. Yeah, a lot of other great stories, and it ties up a lot of things from one part of from a certain city. It takes place in the Rajasthan, and it ties up all a lot of the threads that are still left dangling after Ericsson in Toll the Hounds leaves Rajasthan behind. Really enjoyed it. Great fun. Yeah. A lot of funny, silly characters as well. The Rajasthan is just a great city and fun place to hang out. And seeing the characters there again. And seeing some, this is also the first one where you see a lot of characters that only Ericsson has been writing so far, being tackled by Esslemont. And Esslemont does a great job at it. Really impressive. Yeah. It's very nitpicky, yeah. To choose between these. Okay, now we go to the next tier. The next tier will be, let's say, the previous tier was very good. Let's make it great. These ones are great. These are great books. Great books. Hey, at number 19, we go to Dancer's Lament by Ian C Esslemont, the Paths to Ascendancy book, book 1. Now, beside Knight of Knives, this probably tells the most contained story of all the other ones. It takes place in one city, Liheng. Liheng, I think, might just be my favorite city. It's definitely up there as one of my favorite cities in the whole of Malazan. It definitely rivals the Rajasthan and Lefras for me. I love Liheng. In any case, this is the first one. So it's a very self-contained story, but not as it doesn't take place overnight. It takes place during the siege of Liheng, which takes over months. And I think it does that really well. This is such a it's tight, but still explores everything in the city and really gets into the nitty-gritty, the underground of the city and stuff like that, and just delves deep into Dancer, and we find a bunch of new, interesting, fascinating characters that we've never met before, or that we not necessarily know who they are, and only later on gets revealed who they actually are. But I really enjoyed this. If you want, and this book, of all the ones, now the Paths to Ascendancy series has this feeling in general, but this one more than any other ones feels like Malazan written in a YA style. And it actually works. It's really good. Because the characters are really young still in here. But also like the way the dynamics work. But it still deals with it. I mean, it's in the siege. It's going with the underworld stuff. Bad things happen to kids. But it still has like there's a flair in this book. There's a joy in this book. A really well written, well crafted book. This by Mr. Esslemont. I think probably one of my shortcomings is that I really like sprawling, like you going all over the place type stories. And I think because that's this type of stuff I like. Yeah, guys. There's one leg of mine. That's that. that I tend to like. I think a lot of other people will put Ian C Esslemont way higher than me, but that's probably why it doesn't get it because I like the sprawling everywhere type of stories. Next, under the great teir, we go to where it all began. Gardens of the Moon by Mr. Steven Erikson. Not my first, it's strange enough, it's the first novel, but it wasn't the first one I actually read of Malazan. I actually got a video where I talk about it. Such a great introduction to this world, such great characters, such epic events. The Siege of Pale, amazing. The first time to Darujistan and all these crazy characters like Crop. I think you said Crop. It's awesome. Just and there's a lot of events here that will just stay with you like, oh, and it's such a great introduction into what Malazan, to setting up what type of world this is, and then the other books just runs with it from there. Really amazing. The first book, I enjoyed so much. It's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun. And after this book, you know, oh, this series is going to be crazy. Apparently there's no place this thing you won't end up in. You realize, okay, this world is vast and crazy, and the realms and stuff. Oh, fantastic. And it's already, you like, and things you don't, I thought this was like the most important character, and they're now gone, they died, but they also didn't die. What's going on here? What? Amazing. It's mind blowing. You have to have read that to understand, and more in the series to understand that, but that's really the feeling you get. Okay, and then from the very start, from the very first one we've had to the very last one that came out, at number 17 we have No Life Forsaken. My favorite read of last year, because there's nothing like reading a new Malazan book for first time. And the only one I have in hardback as well. How sad is that? How sad is that? Awesome book. It tells, this is the smallest story in the novels that, and the most self-contained story in all of the novels that Erikson tells. But it's still so good. And there's like, the highlights for me, the prologue in this book is the best prologue in all of Malazan books. This is the best. Where it also goes, there's one crazy event with strong gods and stuff happening in here with famous characters that I can't say too much about, because which was mind-blowing and crazy. And a character here, like, it instantly became one of my favorites. And Shamal, many will mention Shamal. Shamal's awesome. But Shamal was not even my favorite character of all. My favorite character was Bruno Blood. Bruno Blood, and I'm not even going to say more about him. And he's kind of like, he's also the kind of the main character of this. Which is saying, there's only a few books that really have a main character. This is one of them. And he kind of shows up late in the book, but then, yeah, it's such a great, fascinating character. And one that I particularly could identify with. Why? I'm not going to tell you why, but if you know it, you know it. Don't, if you're going to laugh at me, you know what, stop it, I don't like you, okay? So he's a very ugly guy, and he knows he's very ugly, and he kind of just wants to stay in a library. And I'm not ugly, I'm really beautiful, by the way. But I can see that sometimes you will see yourself like that, and everything, yeah, so I identified with it. He really is, I think he's one of the best. And the fact that this far into the series, and like, he will be one of my top 5 probably characters in all of Malazan. At least top 10, but I think top 5. And that with this newest book, Erikson is still doing stuff like that, introducing characters, new characters that you can like that much. Insane. And feels so different from any other characters that we've met already. Hey. So, number 16. We're still in the great teir. And that will be, what is number 16? I can't read my handwriting, ugly. Thank goodness we're at the age where we could type. Oh yeah, of course. One of the craziest, sprawlingest books of all, in all of Malazan. Return of the Crimson God by Ian C Esslemont, the second novel in the second book in the novels of the Malazan Empire. This is such a good book, by the way. What's crazy about this book, it's all over. I think a lot of people, everybody, even I, the first time I read, it's like, what? Because you're all over the place. There's so many characters. This might be the book with the most characters, and or at least the most point of view characters. You're everywhere in the world. Yeah, crazy. But then it all is pulled into one big thing. And I enjoy it. There's a thing that Esslemont does really well. Erickson also does it, but Esslemont does it familiar. He always has one character that not really that used to war, and then he becomes used to it, and he's got different takes on it with each character. The one in here, Nate, is really one of my favorite characters and favorite versions in how he does that. And Nate is kind of like, he starts out as you're not gonna like him a lot, but he starts endearing himself to you. In the beginning, he's just an asshole. Well, okay, but this journey through the book is very fascinating. There's everything at Liang and in Liang, the guy, the squads in Liang defending it, and then let's go, and then the battles, the final battle in this, and the craziness of it, and the siege of there's another siege of Liang in here. There's a second book with a siege of Liang in it. That's awesome. I'm always having a great time. You're always having a great time with Liang. Like the back half of this book is so good. And especially when it comes to a head and everything and all the different... It's got so many different pieces that you have no idea how it's going to play out. And how it plays out is just fascinating and crazy. One of the craziest battles, and battle on battle at the end, yeah. And crazy with so many different sides and madness going on and assassins from both sides flying everywhere trying to kill each other. Shocking moments, tragic moments, a little bit of everything. I love this book. This is definitely one that the longer I go, the more I like it. The more I like it. Okay, and then the last book that I put under the great category. The great category is Stone Wielder by Ian C Esslemont. The third book in the novels of the Malazan Empire. Well, first of all, what's awesome about this, we go to a place we've never been before, the coral subcontinent, it's not a subcontinent, the coral continent, coral continent. Part of it's also called Fist. Really great. And this one has one of the most appropriate covers, if you look at that. Because there's a naval engagement that turns into an amphibious assault in this book. That is one of the best. That it will be very high. There's only one obvious battle in the whole of the Malazan series that I know is better than this one. Besides that, this naval engagement into an amphibious assault is insane and crazy. And man, how Esslemont pulls it off is beautiful. And the story of Pearl and why it's so isolated and such a problem and so hard to conquer, it's just fascinating. There's very deep themes of religious persecution and stuff like that. And we have one religion here, and that's the most important, and any other religion will not be tolerated, and how it plays out and how that doesn't affect on magic, because magic and the gods are very interconnected in the end, what can be used and stuff like that. And the reveal of who this god actually is at the end is, what? No, that changes a lot. This is also the one where Greymane gets a lot more, and this is really Greymane's story. Although he's not, I won't say he's the main character, but I feel it's his story in this one. And that's great to finally see more of Greymane, and he's such a fascinating, interesting and unique character for that type of grizzled old veteran, but with a nice twist that he is, and a great commander, but a nice twist on how it is. Yeah. And there's another battle in the middle here, for a bridge, to take a bridge, right? To get to the other side. Amazing, amazing stuff. I love this book so much. And by that we end the great teir. Okay, we move on to the exceptional. It's this isn't even great, this is exceptional stuff. Exceptional teir. Oh, Itchy nose. Itchy nose. Okay, and so we start the exceptional at 14. Number 14. And part of the exceptional tier is Forge. Why did you move? Studio Ghibli? Stop it. Or Forge of the High Mage by Ian C Esslemont. The 5th book in the Paths to Ascendancy series. And the best book in the Paths to Ascendancy series for me. It does the thing what it does both for me what let's say what was done best in Dance's Lament and in it combines the best of what was done in Novels of Malazan Empire, Dance's Lament, and then the sprawlingness of Kellen Reach. It puts it all in here. It allows it a bit more breathing, but you're going everywhere. It's still craziness. Not too. It's very easy to follow, but really cool. This is the first time we see Mr. Esslemont deal with one of the elder race, a specific elder race that he hasn't dealt with before. I think actually 2 of them. There are 2 of them for the first time, and the stuff he does with them is fascinating and awesome. Yeah, no. I will say yeah. What are the highlights? What are big highlights in this? Okay, first of all, probably the biggest highlight is what he does with the Taishan, which is the High Mage. That's why it's called Forge of the High Mage character in this. It's Taishan's journey and what he does, and he's such a fascinating because Taishan is not necessarily the most likable character, but he's a very interesting character. And this is he kind of what he does with, and how he really understands Taishan, and it lets you really start to understand this character that you felt kind of aloof by. You for most books he's kind of aloof. Deadhouse Landing we start getting it, but in this one it really pays off, and it's amazing. And I really enjoy that. And who is the High Mage? Who is this guy? What makes him tick? How does his brain work? Great. Taishan is very one of those genius recluse guys that don't know how to interact with people, and it's just brilliant. Except from that, the stuff with the Kachencha Mall. I'm just gonna say that the Kachencha Mall and the Kachencha Mall fortress and this. They have moving fortresses, guys. They're flying fortresses. This one is one of the most unique and interesting takes on it. Also, really loved getting into how the Floris archipelago works and how the regime there and how the oppressive regime and the Gestile we've heard so much about the priest of the Gestile or whatever they are, the Gestile priest and how they control everything. Fascinating. I really enjoyed it. Awesome book. And then at number 13, still in the exceptional, we're going the 4th book in the Malazan Book of the Fallen series, House of Chains. House of Chains. Great book. This is maybe the craziest structured book in all of the Malazan Book of the Fallen. It kind of feels like really separate books at sometimes. What do I love about it? So many things. The Karsa Orlong, we really get, I wouldn't say we get introduced to Karsa Orlong. Technically we have met him before this, but you don't know. This is the first time we meet him as Karsa Orlong. And I will say Karsa Orlong, this is one of the few books that has a main character, a protagonist is a wild word to use in Malazan in general, but a main character in Karsa Orlong, and the first quarter just follows Karsa's story, and just his point of view, amazing, crazy stuff. Other stuff, yeah, I like the 7 City stuff. After that, awesome, especially that ending. It will. He will do some stuff the first time you read it, and it's like it is like one of those things. What just happened? What just happened? Huh? That was not. That's not how I saw that playing out. Not at all. And yet it makes perfect sense. One of the best ways in which Erikson and Malazan really subverts expectations happens in this book. And it's amazing. And yeah, The Seven Cities stuff, and then Korsho's journey in Seven Cities as well. Amazing stuff, just amazing stuff. The character of Strings, and you kind of figure out who Strings is, because that's a new name he uses, but it's already showed up. And how he builds everything around there, and how the Bone Hunters, they get the name Bone Hunters, and how it starts. That, yeah. So what I basically just told you, everything in the book's brilliant. So I think I told you about most of stuff, which is, at this point, we really get to where everything, there's not just good in these books anymore. There's like just almost all of it's brilliant. After House of Change, we go to an exceptional tier, to number 12, the book right before House of Change. Memories of Ice. The Teir. The Teir. Who are the Teir? It's an army of people, in a group of people in an army already, that is just basically starving peasants, cannibals. And there's way more than just that about them. The Teir is insane. Insane. The concept of that, like the Panion Domain, it's one of the few that has like what looks like a clear villain, a clear antagonist in the story. And this is like a bunch of former enemies, like we met in Gardens of the Gate, that we're still fighting, come together to deal with the Panion Domain. And what will they find there? And the madness, the back half of this book has some of the craziest stuff. Insane battles, but just like creepy and unsettling stuff. Truly horrific, like villainous attempt. And then, and as the stuff reveals, and who was doing what and why, and what, yeah, there's like, and Cropper has one of the greatest moments, in this, in a great standoff with another really good character. No, really good character. I don't want to say too much about it. I want you to get there all on your own. That's amazing. Yeah. And vibes, sure. There's some hectic, this book has some hectic heavy vibes, but I mean, most of Malazan is. Really love it. Really, just the conquest through the Panion Domain, and the madness and the fight, and what happens to the people there. And the Grey Swords. The Grey Swords is a great storyline. This company that's already there before the other people show up, trying to defend the city. Kapustan, fantastic. Black Coral, whoa, no, guys, no, it's insane. There's so many things here, like Malazan is just next level, and I'm sure I'm leaving out so many things that I know I love. I'm gonna think of this. Oh, I should have mentioned that. Yeah, but I mean, how long do you want this video to be? 10 hours? Huh? Maybe some of you do. You weirdos. Not even I want the thing to be 10 hours. Okay. At number 11. Yeah, and still in the exceptional tier, get the second book in the Malazan Book of the Fallen series by Mr. Ian C Esslemont, Deadhouse Gates by Ian C Esslemont. There's like 3 main storylines going on in this one, and 2 of them are some of the greatest. And that one, it's funny enough, the third storyline is just kind of there to be like the relief one, and the things that are happening in that one is crazy. Yeah, like I would say, a lot of people will put the Felicin and her storyline as the main, as the best part of this book. I think it's the second best part, but it's really good. I'm not knocking on it. It's an insanely good. I just do prefer the Chain of Dogs a bit more. The Chain of Dogs, I've never seen anything like the Chain of Dogs before in a book until I read this. It's such a crazy, and what happens? Oh, misery. Characters having a miserable time of it, and it's legitimately great to read. It's strangely how the misery that's so awful, and yet you are compelled to read it and more, and you have to know where this is going, how this is going to end, and those 2 storylines. And the third storyline is a lot less hectic than those 2, and that's just dealing with crazy monsters and the path of hands and just insane stuff happening. And there's some of the funnest characters. This is also the first book we are introduced to maybe the GOAT. Maybe the GOAT. I'm not saying this necessarily favorite. I have a more favorite character, but it's probably the GOAT of all of Malazan Book 12. And that is the one and only Iskarol Puch, the High Mage of Shadow. Iskarol, or the High Magus of Shadows, whatever. Iskarol Pust. Yeah, it's not Pust. Pust. I believe it's Pust. Iskarol Pust. What an awesome guy. Oh man. Maybe the funniest character also in the whole game. But he's still a high mage. Oh, don't mess with Mr. Bust, man. Each one of those characters, what Ericsson achieved with him. Ooh, awesome. Awesome. And then the last tier in the exceptional, the last book in the exceptional tier, and we only now getting into the top 10 finally, is the first book I ever read of Malazan. My introduction to Malazan. Book 5 in the Malazan Book of the Fallen, Midnight Tides by Steven Erikson. I was so lucky to have picked up. And this one will always, because it's the first one I really introduced me to the world of Malazan. And if you know, you know, I was really lucky to pick this up. And I think this, people hate it when I said, this is where you should start with Malazan. This, and go check I explain it why in that video of where to start. First of all, let's talk about some of the characters, because his characters that I was introduced here, that just stuck me, and in all the books, but this was the first time I got introduced to Steven Erikson type characters, and how I love him. Troll Sengar on the one hand, like, I just kind of identify with him, but he's such an interesting, right, and what he's going through, and he's maybe one of the best characters to do it. That thing I was talking about in Night of Nights, the way he sees himself, and how you start thinking about him because of the way he sees himself, and then when you start seeing how other people see him, and it's like, wow. And then on the other hand, you have Theodore Benedict on the other side of the story. It's like to rival Krupp and Iskarov was, and just one of the brilliant, funny characters that Erikson is so great, right? They're funny, but they're brilliant. They're actually kind of genius. Theodore Benedict, man. And he's dynamic with Bug. And who Bug, you find out who Bug is. It's so awesome. They will always have. Also, just some great, and there's an inevitableness to this book, and especially if you've read it that's why I like this one, because I think like in the House of Change spoils the big struggle here. But I feel like even if you read it, there is a inevitableness. At some point, it starts to become an inevitableness of the things that are gonna happen, and and the way they show magic on a battlefield and stuff like that. Oh, that is insane. And it is one of the most shocking moments, and when it happens, and what? That is one of the characters becomes a super interesting character in the series. What an introduction! What an introduction! And now we go from exceptional to what I will say is just below God tier. I'll say just below God tier level books. And there's only 2 in this one. There's only 2. But there are some really good books. At number 8, we have the first book in the Witness trilogy. I'm lying. The God is Not Willing by Steven Erikson. Much like No Life Forsaken as well, what blows me away is there's characters introduced in this that are suddenly some of the greatest characters he's ever written. On the marine side, there's Stillwater, which falls into that. Your Stillwater, I really don't know how to explain. She is one of the greatest characters to follow along and just see things from her point of view, because her point of view is unlike anybody's point of view that's ever existed before. And since in Malazan, she's such a unique character in all of Malazan. I still don't know how to describe Stillwater. Just amazing. And on the other side, we have Rand. And Rand's journey in this book, and how he comes into himself and stuff. Rand is a giant, and I don't want to spoil but you'll find out who his parent is. I mean, there's so many books in. I don't want to say too much because it might spoil some stuff what I want. But Rand's story and just how engaging he is as a character, fantastic. And then there's another character that we've only met for a brief moment, and he was a very small character in the All of the Malazan Book of the Fallen series. A very small character. but it becomes a really big character, especially in the first half of this book. And how this guy that you kind of like, and he was a throwaway, you would have liked him, whatever, and how he's changed because he's older, and how fascinating he is, and what his role is in all of this. It's also, this is a very contained story, just like No Life Forsaken. It's a very contained story within the Malazan. It's probably just as contained as this, but Erikson does so much with the characters and everything. Yeah, it's amazing, and the epic events in this, great, real great. Small character and then epic events. Now all of Malazan has that, but this book really delivers on both in an interesting way, while still telling this intimate story. And yeah, it rushes to a conclusion that you kind of see coming, but the characters don't see it, seem to want to see it, and then they just wonderfully done. And the reveal of what is the Empire becoming. Great. Now, in another one with the Just Below God Tier books, we find, we put in from Ian C Esslemont, Blood and Bone, the 5th book in the novels of the Malazan Empire. Now, this book takes, first of all, it takes place in it's the only book that takes place in this location, and this is my favorite location of all the continents, Yakaruku. Yakaruku is insane. And especially the jungles of Yakaruku, Himatan, all the storylines that go through Himatan, crazy. But even the ones on the other side that focus more on the Timecodes, oh, wow. It's a wild world. And I know some people don't like this book because it's maybe the most nihilistic in some ways book of all. There's very little hope in this book. I love it. Great characters. And if you read it multiple times, you start seeing the hope. But just great characters. My favorite storyline in all of Malazan is in this book, and it's like a dynamic that's both funny, just in you're laughing in the most horrid of setting, and it's like it follows grand. I just want to read for just to read the full titles. The character's name, okay, Commander of the Army of Righteous Chastisement, Golan, yeah. And then Principal Scribe of the Army, Fawn is his name. So Golan's the one, and Golan and Fawn as a dynamic is one of the greatest. And just following their story along, and as they venture, and it's part of the Timecodes wanting to do this thing where they conquer into Himatan and take parts of Himatan over. Unlike anything I've ever read. And Himatan is such a great, interesting, this jungle that's kind of partly sentient. And then, it's amazing. And then there's another character, and it's kind of hidden who it's supposed to be a reveal during it. But if you know, you would recognize the moment he shows up, even though he gives a different name. You kind of think, oh, I think it's that guy. And then pretty sure you get, if you know what is going on, you get confirmed, oh, it is that guy, which is literally my favorite character, which is one of my favorite characters in all of them. And to see his storyline and his stuff on that side, oh, amazing. Amazing. Such a great book. And just stuff happens and you're like, whoa. There's so many, like, and just, what moments in this. It's like, I really loved it. This is what Ian C Esslemont was. It's chef's kiss, brilliant. Fantastic. And now we have 7, no, that was number 7. So we now have 6 books left. And these 6 are what I call, so this was these last 2 books was just below God tier. Yeah? And the next 6 books was like above God tier. Like whatever is above God tier, this is above God tier. Yeah. So here we go. These 6 books are strong contenders to be the 6 best books I ever read in my life. There's very few books that I will put up with, from any of the other stuff that I will put up with these. Very, very few. At number 6 we have the 7th book in Malazan, Book of the Fallen by Stephen Erikson. That's a silly way to say. Reaper Scale by Stephen Erikson. And damn if that title is not appropriate. Reaper Scale. Yeah, no, there's a wind. The Reaper is blowing through this book. It's like a hacksaw, and yeah, it's really a collision of two of the major storyline things that have gone on to collide here in this book, and it is brilliantly done. There's like there's an invasion element in this book, in the latter part of this book. Amazing, one of the favorite things in it. But just seeing this how this is also like it follows up on the events of Midnight Tides and what coalesced there and how that happened and what this means. The ending, how does this new thing that's kind of been birthed supposed to build on, and the problems with this and the societal changes and clashes between these two groups, and how is that going to work? That are now supposed to be one group of people. Fascinating, interesting, and so many moments of just like stuff again, and craziness, awesomeness. Yeah, there is like this a scene in here where a character is suddenly transformed from one state of being into another. That is one of the most craziest, and just like when it happens, and it was already kind of foreshadowed it's going to happen sooner, and then when it happens, it's like whoa, and just seeing that and what that does to the character. And the fascinating play of how that works through the characters. Amazing. Amazing. Reaper's Gale. Unbelievable. And also great battle scenes. Just a lot of amazing battle scenes. And amazing plots. The character of Beak in this, sure, it's a very small character, but his short journey in this, insane. Insane. Love it so much. I mean, these books start to become almost impossible to rank at this point. Especially in this tier, to try and rank between them. So now we're in the top 5, officially in the top 5, and we go to Dust of Dreams by Steven Erikson, the 9th book in Book of the Fallen. The only reason this is what did I give it? Number 5, and not even highest, because in many ways it's a part 1 to a 2-part finale. It doesn't feel like it's a complete book, and it's supposed to be. It's like supposed this is part 1, Crippled God is part 2. There's so much love about this. This book is hectic. It does some stuff to you, man. If you think you've seen horrible stuff in Malazan up until this point, and then this one goes, this is a really hold my beer. Let me show you how bad things can really get. The standout storylines for me, especially for the first time we kind of see it as narrated that's kind of, not completely, but kind of from the Kachin Jamal's point of view. And they play a major role. They are like small roles in other books. Here they play a major role. And to see them and just listen everything about them. And the battles, there are battles in this. Wow. This book has some of the most, probably the biggest and craziest battle in all of, I'm not saying the best, but biggest and craziest in all of Malazan is in this book. It's insane. And then the other storyline I want to think about, the Barghast storyline, and what this group of people and how the destiny they believed in, and how this happens, and the manipulations of their own gods on them, and everything that happens. And now, it is wild, hectic, crazy stuff, and it blows up into madness and craziness. And how that happens and what happens to the Barghast in this, it's unbelievable. And then the rest of the stuff is just nice goodies, nice, awesome stuff. The people traipsing around. Everybody's trying to get to the place where the big fight is, but they have to get through so many people that don't care that they're there and just want to attack them and manipulate them. This is really an insane, crazy book. Now, the storylines, and this is the first time we start to meet the snake here. The snake, and I'm not even going to say what the snake is, but it's harrowing. Let's say one of the most harrowing storylines in all of Malazan is the snake. And it's insane, and this is really a book like, you thought you knew how rough stuff can be in this series. Nah, let me show you. Let me show you what we're fighting, and here are the conclusion. Let me show you how wild things really are and how insane it is. and all the setbacks along the way. Whew. Setbacks. Now the characters go through a ringer in that book. That was number 5. So we're in the top 4 now. The top 4. I missed the book somewhere. Sorry guys, I missed it. Where did I miss? So I missed number 9. Oh, number 9. That's why it was only just. Let me talk. Sorry about it. My apologies. Let me go back to number 9. This book would be in number 9. So he would be part of the just below God tier books. The first book in the Carcass trilogy, Forge of Darkness, which is like it is a prequels, but set in a distant past for Malazan Book of the Fallen and even our Malazan series that are in more in the present. If that makes sense, what I'm saying, for another planet, it's the present. This and what blew me away is like, if you think the events in Book of the Fallen could be shocking and rough, and the world they inhabited was rough, when you go back to this primordial world in the earlier days, and this is already, and this is really, this was in that, this is kind of seen as the beginning. Then you realize, oh no, the world's been going on for a long time. There's been a lot before this even. But yeah, there are scenes in here that is so shocking and horrifying, and the way Erikson, and he writes it, he's very much in the Shakespeare dialect influenced this, although it's not as hectic as the Shakespeare, but that definitely played a lot into it. He wanted to do something written in this and feel quite different in how they speak and stuff in this, and it's a much smaller story, especially in this book, still in the Carcass trilogy, but it hits hard. And it's miserable at times. Miserable characters. But it's really well done. What I think is the only thing keeping this out of the in the above God tier, and why this is number 9. I can't believe I missed this. Sorry guys. My writing's ugly. The only absolute mess here. Absolute mess. Well, I kind of knew I was gonna make a mess eventually because this is way too much. But yeah, and where this goes, and the story tells, and the Azaphani, because here we start to learn of the term Azaphani, who that is, and who they are in the future world that we get to. So we're learning their story, we're learning what it is. A fascinating, harrowing, rough. Oh man, there's so many scenes in here, and it's scenes where the other ones will have scenes on a large, shocking scale, also on a small shocking scale, but on a large. This one has those small, intimate, super shocking scenes that will just. Oh man, yeah. And then characters as well. Wafa Ursander. Insane. Han Graal. Crazy character. Arafan. We get a little bit more of Draconis here than we've known before. Really good stuff. Really good, insane. The one thing that keeps it for me in this tier, not above 1, it doesn't have the humor. There's very little humor in it. There is a little bit, but there's very little in here compared to some of the other works of Erikson. And Erikson has such a great humor thing, and I love it so much that you feel it when it's not there. But I understand why it's not in here. So yeah. Let me get it in there. Get in, sliding it in. That's what she said. That's me being unprofessional now. And this is how I realized it, because it's this number 4 was the sequel to Forge of Light, and God, Forge of Darkness, Fall of Light, the second book in the Carcass trilogy, and very big again. Yeah, it's a big one. It takes the themes of Forge of Darkness and just runs crazy with it, and magic in this one. What magic does in this book, because magic's there has been magic to a certain degree, but it's kind of new and unregulated and crazy here. One of the most fascinating and violent and crazy things. Storylines that take off from the insane events that happen in Forge of Darkness. It goes so insane, and it just ups the ante for all the characters. And it brings back, but what I love, what it also does is it brings back some of that humor that Erikson is so good at. And there are several storylines that brings back the humor, and it doesn't focus. There are like in the other ones, the very seriousness, and does the very seriousness well that Forge Dark. Then there's two other storylines, and even they have a very element of seriousness to them, but it's fascinating, and especially the stuff around the Jagut and the Telekai that we learn in this. That's amazing. I enjoyed that. Hood and Goforth, fantastic characters. Cruel, great, and then like on the other side is like how the two sides in the Civil War, because that's like, and you can, I'm not spoiling it, there's like, this is going to happen. You've already known that this has happened. This is telling events that you've heard about in Malazan Book of the Fallen. And now the two sides of the story, and going further into some of these fascinating characters and who they are. I almost don't want to call them because I don't want to tell you, because who survives Forge of Darkness. Really great. And I think maybe the ending, the most shocking the ending of any of the Malazan books, or at least for me, it shocked me. This ending just, and I can't wait. I know Erikson's almost done with the third book. Cannot wait for that. Cannot wait for that to finally come out. This might, when it's all said and done, the Darkness trilogy might be the high point of all of Malazan. And think what the other stuff is. That is insane for me. That is insane. Now the top 3. We're into the top 3. And at number 3 we have, a lot of people put this at number 1, I know. Toll the Hounds by Steven Erikson. Man, oh man. This is a heavy book. It's a heavy book, especially in the beginning, heavy book, but it kind of builds itself slowly and strangely at the beginning, but it's building to something. You can see this, and it's been a theme in the books always. Before divergence, is it divergence? I can't remember the right, but it's like when a bunch of characters, strong characters, come together and just chaos ensues. I can't remember the term now. Don't hate me, Malazan purist. Gonna hate me for that. But it's a course now. I'll probably put it down here what that term is. So cool. I don't remember what stuff's called ever. What do I love about this? Okay, first of all, there's like stuff I want to talk about, but it also really feels kind of like spoilery when you say it. But the last 200 pages and events there, but some of the greatest events in the whole of the series, like it happens in the last 200 pages of this, 150 pages probably, that are insane. And I will say this: what happens in Hood's realm and with Hood's realm, which is like in the afterlife, everything around that is insane. What happens with the Dragnipur and that story, and Anima and this story, crazy. Traveler and Corsa Orlong and their journey, fascinating. One of the favorites to read. Now, the Black Coral feels like probably the secondary storyline in here, but even that stuff, and some of the characters in the Seduman, unbelievable character. And then my favorite character of all, and we really get, and this is where he becomes my favorite character, because we get a lot from his point of view. And the High King himself, the High King Kellor, and just like crazy unique character, and it really, this is the book that sets him for me, like, oh man, this is, and whenever we get to a Kellor point of view section, I'm like, so awesome, getting to spend time in that man's brain, wow. No, there's a bunch of final confrontations at the end. We're back at Darujistan, really for the first time since Gardens of the Moon. And it is hectic and crazy and insane. It's like, how do things play out at the end of this book? Yeah. And what it means for the rest of the Malazan world. Yeah, it's insane. It is something crazy. Okay, there's 2 more left. And at number 2, we have the conclusion to Malazan Book of the Fallen. The Crippled God by Steven Erikson, book 10 in Malazan Book of the Fallen. Just look at that. You can just tell by that cover, like, oh, this is gonna be crazy, and it is, and it is. And I mean, there's nothing that's not a highlight in this book. There's nothing that's not a highlight in this book. But yeah, if I have to put, the Glass Desert. The Glass Desert is really one of the craziest, like, in storylines and stuff, and yeah, harrowing stuff, insane. And there's a few really, there's multiple like in small moments. I can't really talk too much about, but it's really that hits you here, unlike anything else has hit me before. And I mean, I've been emotionally felt, but there's stuff in here that just, at least two. That is, and a specific storyline that just, when it hits you, it hits you. And then the concluding battles, of course, and how it all plays out, because this is one of, and then the reveals about the Crippled God, as we really start learning more about him. This character that we've kind of followed and been on this weird journey with, like from afar. We've seen how everybody else looks at him. We get a little bit from his spirit, but to really start to get to what is everybody trying to accomplish in this? Because that's the strangest thing. What everybody's trying to do here, it might be the strangest part of the whole story. And it's just an epic conclusion. Just done. Harrowing and beautiful and amazing. Oh, I want to shout out Captain Kindly. Captain Kindly, that's a character we've been kind of following, a smaller character we've been following along with. And Lieutenant Porus. Awesome. Love those guys. Just a lot of amazing stuff in this book. And all the craziness. Yeah. And to really get the Four Cruel Asile for the first time, and what type of characters and what type of creatures they really are. Because we've only heard a little bit about them and here and there seen one of them. This is where we really get some Four Cruel Asile. And yeah. Justice, baby. Justice. And then there's only one left. There's only one left in this above God tier. It has to be. So the number one book is The Bone Hunters by Steven Erikson. The sixth book in Malazan Book of the Fallen. Now, I will say this, I feel like this top six is a dead heat. It's hard to choose between them. The only reason I think like Bone Hunters is my number one is because what I feel is the greatest segment or sequence or event, but a big event, not like a small intimate one, like a big, like a conflagration, whatever you want to call it. To have a battle, let's call it a battle because it is a battle, is in this book. It's one of the most wildly crazy stuff. How it plays out, it's Yucatan. It's Yucatan. When you get to Yucatan, what happens at Yucatan is nothing like that. It's insane. It's the high point of all. And it happens in the middle of the book, by the way. And the fact that it's the greatest thing, but the book doesn't feel weaker after it. It sets up everything else for the book. And like this. Yeah. What's weird about this book is, in some ways, this where most of the books feels like a self-contained story, except for Dust of Dreams and the Crippled God, which is really a part 1 and 2. This one feels like a transitory story. Like it's really a middle book. Like if it was a trilogy, this would be the middle book that is taking what was between the setup of book 1 and a conclusion and trying to get you from point 1. That is what this book is. And strangely enough, that it shouldn't be the best. It shouldn't be the best. That shouldn't be the best book. It is. It is. It is. Just like in moving from the one to insane stuff. Now, the Yucatan was maybe the highlight, but every other storyline is also great. There's stuff with some Derogov stuff in here that's awesome. There's another city, there's some events at another city. I'm not sure which city it was now. I want to say Gdanisban, but I might be wrong about saying Gdanisban. It's also crazy events. The final conclusion in this and what it builds up to at the end and how that all plays out and the madness of that. Yeah, what a book! This stands at the moment as my favorite book of all time. But it really is a dead hit between the top 6. And then there's just that one event that is my favorite event in all of Malazan. And I think I am not alone, especially when it comes to battles. I think most people will agree with me that is the best battle in all of Malazan. And it plays out in a way you would not expect. That was long. Tell me which ones are your favorite? Or have I said something that makes you interested in reading Malazan? I would hope that. Which ones are your favorite? Wait, do you think I'm completely wrong? Huh? Do you disagree with me? Are you angry that Memories of Ice is not number one? Because I know a lot of people want Memories of Ice to be number one. I love it. I love all of them. Okay? Where do you disagree? What is your favorite? Let me know that. Or give me like your top 5. Your top 5 of them. I would love to hear that. Come on. Interact with me. This is one of the few times I actually want you to interact. So interact. This is my favorite series of all time. The Malazan world, and there's 2 more, but there's a book coming out this year. The next book in the Witness trilogy from Steven Erikson. So excited. And then next year we're getting the next book in the Path to Ascendancy by Ian C Esslemont, which I'm also just so excited for. And then eventually we will get the conclusion to the Witness trilogy, but before that I believe we will get A Walk in Shadows, the end of God Kindness, and that's probably one I'm most excited for of all of the upcoming books. And then the 6th book, I think when the 6th book in the Past to Ascendancy series do, we should do I will redo this, and that should be 3-4 years from now, and see how everything stands there, because hopefully then I might have reread some of them, at least know what I've forsaken the second time. Just reading it once is not enough. But that's it, guys, that's it. I am the Anonymous Librarian. Did I introduce myself again? I can. You can call me Al. And if you don't call me at all, that's okay. Just buy some Malazan books. Read some Malazan. Get some Malazan in your life.